I do. I love living in New York City. I live in Hell's Kitchen, and I love living in Hell's Kitchen because when I walk around the neighborhood with my husband, people tell him to smile more. And I live near Times Square. I actually do enjoy Times Square. I know as a New Yorker I'm not supposed to like Times Square, but I like to walk through, look at the spectaculars. However, sometimes they do activate my anger issues that used to make me drink so much. Like a few weeks ago I saw a spectacular. Are we on season like 87 of The Bachelor? Now, that's the stupidest show ever made. You guys, it's a game show about polyamory and the grand prize is monogamy.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. America, everybody in the International Space Station, everyone out in orbit anywhere. This is the Funny Women of a Certain Age podcast on Stardate 2522.05. This is the all-nerd episode of the podcast. I am joined by Dani Riedel. She is a novelist, a comedian, and a cosplayer. And joined also by Leighann, who is an author and a comedian and a cosplayer. And I'm your host, Shelly Colman, and I am not a novelist or a cosplayer. I do call myself a comedian because no one's contradicted me yet. So, hi, Dani. Nice to see you. Welcome.
It's great to see you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. We were talking earlier, Dani and I and Leighann, about how Dani's hair is green. More of a turquoise, actually, now that I'm looking at it. And it's too bad we don't record this on video because it is a lovely color. It is a lovely color, and it brings out the turquoise in your eyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So how are you, Dani? I haven't seen you for a while. Anything new you want to tell me?
Well, I've got one big piece of news, actually.
Yes.
And that is that in my never-ending quest to live in a world as close as possible to the one Gene Roddenberry has imagined for all of us, my husband and I are moving to Mexico City in September.
Wow. Why Mexico City?
Because when Trump got elected, I turned into Veruca Salt and went, Daddy, I want a woman president now. No,
that's brilliant.
Mexico City's beautiful. It has comedy. It has musical theater. It's gorgeous. It's like New York if everything was painted the color of my hair.
Wow. Well, congratulations, I guess. But New York's loss is Mexico's gain.
Well, I'll certainly be popping back, especially for Star Trek conventions.
Oh, of course. And you know what? Let's just dive right into that because you two are two of the Trekkiest people I know. And I say this as a woman who represents the original series. I am OG for the OS, okay? I was going to Star Trek conventions. I was going to Star Trek conventions before you were born, you kids. But y'all have me beat, and I bow before my betters. Leighann, when I first met you, I don't think the first thing we talked about was Star Trek, but maybe the second.
I'm sure. I bring up Star Trek like my dad used to bring up the Brooklyn Dodgers. Whether or not it was relevant to the conversation, it didn't matter. We're getting to the Dodgers. We're getting to Star Trek.
Well, I guess you could make an argument that with Star Trek, everything is relevant because it is a whole universe.
It
right?
is indeed. Well, yes. When I wish we embraced some of those principles even more.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath for that because I do want to live a couple more days. And so I think of myself as representing the original series, and Leighann, I think of you as representing Discovery. And
oh, wow.
Dani,
okay.
Somehow I've got you right in the middle with Next Generation.
You nailed it.
Possibly because of your avowed affection for Commander Riker.
I was just going to say, is that because the whole world knows that I am in the mirror universe, possibly the future Mrs. William Riker?
Yeah, that's why.
No, wait,
that's
we are in the mirror universe. The whole thing is off. Never mind.
So we'll have an Empress soon. That'd be good.
Yeah, we're totally in the Empire now.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
So now, Dani, I mentioned cosplay, and I suspect there might be 4 or 5 other people in the world, in addition to me, who do not really get cosplay. So I'm going to open this to the floor. How would you describe it? And for God's sake, why do you do it? Because it looks like it takes a lot of effort and money. Okay, Dani, we'll go with you first.
Effort and money, yes. I have spent a lot of years trying to perfect cosplaying on a tight budget, which is possible. I just like to say that basically the two things I liked to do most when I was a little kid were play dress up and tell jokes. And my mother said that that wasn't a job, and screw her. Yes, it is. My my first ever time actually cosplaying, though, was
Wait, let me stop you. Define for me cosplay. What is it to you? Like, I could look it up on Google, of course, but I'm not going to do that. That's why I'm asking people.
I'm going to defer to Leighann on this one. Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I just feel like I'm going to accidentally say the wrong thing.
Listen, I have a very strong edit button, so don't worry about that. But Leighann, do you have a definite, like, if somebody asks you what the hell is cosplay, what do you say?
And people do ask me, and I'm confused sometimes when people refer to me as a cosplayer. I don't think of myself as one just because there's so many levels to it. Essentially, cos, I think, is short for costume, and we only think of that, in terms of children and Halloween, or adults going to a costume party or a costume ball. But cosplay, I think, takes it to the realm of you're doing characters from science fiction, from movies, from TV, anime. It's very big tent nerdy. And then attending events specifically for that. I've seen cosplayers who, and you're right, it does take money and patience and creativity and art and love. I've seen folks whose costumes are so detailed and so specific and so amazing, you think they work for the studio. Like,
Yeah.
are you guys like, what? Did you steal this from Marvel? Like, how?
Yeah.
How did you? So it's a feast for the eyes, and I think that's why some people do it. They're expressing their creativity, their love of the franchise that they're connected to. It's an homage, and people get to then see that creativity, and I think that's beautiful.
Well, thank you. That makes a lot more sense than what I was thinking, which I won't tell you because it's kind of insulting.
And Dani, please feel free to fill in anything that I've missed in laying that foundation of what I think cosplay is.
That was beautiful. Honestly, it's a lot more than playing dress up. It's
Yes.
The choice of a character plays into it a lot. Like, not just in terms of like the effort and sewing and stuff involved, but like, who do you resonate with? And that's a whole other area. But the short version of the funny story, I was Leighann, you were there the first time I ever cosplayed. Remember the Zoom days that all blend together during the lockdown?
Okay. Yes.
And we were all performing in front of green screens, the same color as a Star Trek The Next Generation science officer's uniform, which was the only costume I had at the time. And it was a Farpoint convention that was virtual that year. And then Leighann, I think you and I later did a Zoom cosplay comedy show, and I was dressed as 7 of 9, and that became my signature cosplay, like as a comedian. And it all happened because you could see through me on a green screen with my.
So your signature is I'm not really here, or I'm only partially here. I'm a floating head. That's your signature move.
What would have been if not for the quick delivery of a silver cat suit and some bleach.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay, now the last convention I went to, I think it was in New Jersey, and it was decades ago. But I went because John Delancey was going to be there, and John Delancey plays Q on Next Generation, and
such a lovely man.
Other, and I just get such a kick out of him and that character. I like to say that my favorite fictional characters are all megalomaniacs. Like, I love him. I love the Brain from Pinky and the Brain. So I just get a kick out of that because it's fiction. Anyway, so I went up. Well, right. Exactly. Well, they are fiction. So I went to this thing, and I made sure to get to his question and answer. So it's in the big ballroom, and I'm up in the back. I'm in the back of the room because I didn't think I was going to participate, really. I just wanted to hear him talk. First thing he does, he walks on stage and he goes, "What do you want to know?" So people are asking him all kinds of questions. And at one point he stops and he says, look, no, no what if questions. I'm not a writer, okay? I'm an actor. I'm a director. I don't write these scripts. So no, like, what if Q did this or that questions. So, of course, my hand went up immediately. I'm in the back of the room. I know he's not going to see me, but I wanted to say, okay, look, if Q and Superman had a fight, it would win. He didn't call on me, so I never found out. I mean, the answer, of course, would be Q, but nevertheless. Anyway, so that was my last Star Trek convention because it just, the thrill is gone for me. I guess I'm just too damn old.
I now want to know what would happen if Q teamed up with the Brain.
Well, okay, let's get really deep here. Have you ever noticed that Lord Gowron looks a lot like the Brain from Pinky and the Brain? It's the bug eyes. It's the round head and the bug eyes. So I have the theme song for it, okay? They're Pinky and Gowron. Yes, Pinky and Gowron. One is a lab mouse and one's a Klingon. It works. It totally works.
And they do.
I can't unhear that,
and
I can't unsee it.
Ever.
I can't unsee it now.
That's, you know what? The fact is the fact. Once you see it, there it is.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I'm okay with it. I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. It's like I feel like I leveled up in some kind of video game.
You know?
You shall pass.
Thank you very much. All right. So now let me ask you, Dani, you said that when you were a kid, you liked to tell jokes and play dress up. So did you get into to costumes first, or did you get into Star Trek first? Or
I think I probably got into costumes first, and then theater, and then, life does life. And it was actually I've been with my husband for 16 years, so he's the one who introduced me to Star Trek.
Really? Let's talk to him. I'm kidding. Let's not talk to him. No.
I have now eclipsed him in levels of nerdy enthusiasm. But it was not long before I was taking sewing lessons and making him a Riker costume.
Wow. Okay.
That's commitment.
Really. That is some, again, I bow to my betters because my nerd runs deep, but not very wide. So it's pretty much Star Trek, Star Wars, but I do love, I love science, so I don't know if that counts. But I'm not into anime, I'm not into horror and all kind of stuff. I know a lot of people sort of spread it across genres. So which came first then, was costume or comedy, Dani?
Comedy came late for me, unfortunately. I started doing stand-up comedy because I quit drinking. And it was...
Wow. Deep.
It's a whole thing. That's why I keep going short version before I say anything. I quit drinking. I needed something to do. I started doing stand-up comedy. I certainly didn't think it was going to, become what it became. And so some of the first jokes I wrote were Star Trek jokes. And
of course they were.
Of course they were. And my husband joked with me because neither of us had ever, as deeply as he's into Star Trek, he's your classic, I'm an introvert engineer. I don't want to talk to other humans kind of.
Yes.
So he doesn't go to cons, but so neither of us had ever been. So he said, you should do comedy at Star Trek conventions. And I was like, wait, you've never been to one, or I haven't. Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Do they do that? And I guess it was like 2 years later, someone's asking me to do Zoom comedy at a Star Trek convention.
Wow. Adam, that sounds like a Deus Ex Machina type of thing. It sounds like somebody heard it and went, it shall be so.
For real. No. Yeah.
It's just... Dani, what part of the franchise did you enter in on? Was it original series or next gen?
So so this was actually a big conversation my husband and I had, because I was kind of insistent on watching everything in chronological order, and he said no, watch the Next Generation first.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I am very glad he said that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I entered at Encounter at Farpoint, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Welcome.
Wow.
Yes, he was correct.
I absolutely agree.
That's how you did it too, Leighann?
No, that's
Oh.
why I know he's correct. I was original series, and
Yeah.
I say to this day, if my first exposure to Star Trek had been the movies, I would not be a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
So I think how you're brought on board matters. Much like Doctor Who, I'm not going all the way back to the Daleks with face plungers. That's ridiculous. But David Tennant, oh, that's a beautiful entry point if you want to start on the Doctor Who bandwagon. And then once you get in and you're like, oh, okay, I like the waters. You can go back, you can go forward. But yes, no, Next Generation is a wonderful place to start because it's a 50-year franchise. Everybody, do we remember that? 50 plus.
Yeah,
You know.
I feel like Next Generation is just. I've had conversations with people who like Deep Space Nine better than the Next Generation because they like seeing the dark side of the Federation.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, and I respect all the arguments, but my favorite is TNG because it does the best allegorical job of showing us what we could do if we stopped being jerks to each other.
Yes. I don't think you get the appreciation for DS9 if you don't have Next Generation.
Agreed.
It's just not, and I love it. I love Commander Sisko. I joke that his name to me sounds like a drink you can order at the bar. Right? I'll take a Captain Sisko on the rocks, please. Dark
And his son
strong.
Jake. His son Jake, also known as the Cisco Kid.
Nicely done. Nicely done, madam.
I stole that from my long-standing Star Trek buddy with whom I went to kindergarten. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, Next Generation sets the pace for everything else.
Yeah. Okay. I'll buy that. All right, Dani, let's move on to something else. I want to talk about your novel. Smile
okay.
and Walk Away.
Right.
So you wrote a novel, Dani?
It's the kind of thing where everyone says you should write what you want to read, and I just really like exposition and mystery. And my favorite scene of like anything is that big bad guy tell all moment, which everyone literary
You're
agents
going to kill me. Why don't you just tell me how you did it?
It's such a trope, and it's like, you know what? I love it, so it's in my book. Screw you. Like,
there you go. You wrote it. What somebody
I wrote it to entertain. It's different than how it would have been if I'd written it. I wrote it in early 2016. Today it would be a very different book.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I probably say that about everything that we do, right?
Yeah.
For real.
My novel was written during the Obama administration. So.
Oh, that's all you needed to say.
Yeah.
That explains a lot. All right, so moving from that into something, I guess we're going back to cosplay, though. Miss Subways? You were in the Miss Subways competition? I didn't know that even existed. That's from when I was a kid in the 1970s.
They've revamped it as a beauty pageant that just says "screw you" to beauty pageants, and I applied to be in it out of 500 women or whatever, I don't know how many, and it was a long shot, and I wanted to do it so badly because I had this idea. I have this ball gown. I wanted to make a rhinestone subway map on it, gigantic, like huge scale. And I had everything planned, and I was brokenhearted. I didn't get in. They made me an alternate, meaning if someone drops out, I get in. And my husband was like, you still have to make the dress. So I spent about 30 hours gluing rhinestones on this dress and sewing it, and knowing that anything was ever gonna happen. And then 26 hours before the pageant, I got an email that someone dropped out and they needed me to be a contestant. And thankfully I'd made the dress, and I was doing a Star Trek convention that weekend. I was performing at Trek Long Island that weekend, and so I had to go there a day late, and I ran to Coney Island, won first runner up in Miss Subways.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you. And then ran to Long Island and just did Trek comedy in the subway dress.
Are you a native New Yorker?
I'm a native Philadelphian, but I went to college. I went to Sarah Lawrence, so I spent 4 years like New York adjacent, and then I've now lived in Manhattan for 4 years.
Well, that ends soon, so get out. Give me the dress. By the way, I will say I'm going to link to this if I can figure out how. I saw the video of you making this dress. It is very impressive.
Thank
Very
you.
impressive. So I'm going to link to it on the page of the thing of the. See, I don't know the words that I'm talking about, but I know the thing that I'm talking about. So I'm going to do that and then attach it, and everybody can see it if they want to.
Oh, I'd love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So when you came in first runner up. Do they make? Does that mean like you're Miss Queens, or just like if Miss Subways is hit by a bus, which would be hilarious. You become Miss Subways.
If she is unable to fulfill her duties.
Exactly.
Because she's been hit by a bus.
So she's also a Trekkie. This is the funny thing. The two Trekkies. So her name is Queerly Fantastic, and she's an international burlesque superstar. She's phenomenal. Wow. And we were chatting in the dressing room before the competition, before the show. Here's how it all happened. Someone said something about living in Long Island City. I said, oh, one of my favorite actors lives in Long Island City. Oh, who is it? Oh, here's a name. Oh, Star Trek. We're best friends now.
Of course. That's how that happens.
And then at the end of it, after the results were announced, we run back to get changed. I ran up to her and just went, I'm your first officer.
That is the best.
Perfect. On the Starship A Express.
Yeah. She was Miss A Train and I was Miss ACE Line, because that's what I take the most often. So
I see.
Nice.
All right. Oh, that explains why it has Ace on the back of the dress.
You got to pick which subway line you represented. So I picked the one I kind of live on top of.
E-Train girl, all day, every day.
To Flatbush Avenue Express all my life. I used to live in another part of Brooklyn, and I took the 2 train back when it was the 3 train. Then they changed it to the 2. This is very New York centric. And now I live in another part of Brooklyn, and I still take the 2 train. So it all comes together.
You should both actually do this pageant for real.
No, I will not be sewing anything.
Although I will say, Dani, I am inspired. I can sew a button, I can darn socks. Anything besides that is too beyond me. But I think I would like to take some sewing lessons. I think I would like to learn that. So thank you for giving me something to think about doing with my copious amounts of free time.
Yeah, I was going to say in between trips to Costa Rica and Israel and doing comedy everywhere and winning awards and writing more books and God, you both exhaust me. I barely get out of bed because I'm thinking about, oh my God, what is Leighann doing today? Holy crap, what is Dani doing today? It's too much for me. Dani, one of my favorite things that I found out about you, someone described you as cerebral but aggressive.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a backstory to that?
Just when I get frustrated, and I'm on stage, I'll just fucking go for it.
Okay. All right.
And I think Leighann, would understand this a lot. Is the kind of wrestling with how to phrase a joke so that it's intelligent enough and conveys what you want it to convey, but it's not going to be too much for people to get it like quickly enough.
So you mean if you're riffing, if it's something off the cuff, or when you're writing comedy?
When I'm writing, like, I find that I want things to have too many words in them, and I've had a lot of people use that word. That joke is too cerebral.
Okay, yeah. One of the first things that Leighann said to me when we first met was I had a joke where I used the word temerity. I remember you came up to me afterwards and you said, when I heard that, when you said temerity, I knew you had it. I knew you were going to win.
Does that mean you're telling jokes in Temerian?
No, it does not.
But I do love that word.
Shaka when
The
the walls
SAT
fell.
scarred me.
For real, right?
Temerity is I hated the SAT. It's like learn all these words for the test, and then after you take the test, okay, don't use those words because people don't like when you sound smart. Then why did we
Right?
learn 2,000 words, y'all? So my goal in life is to use all of them. Temerity.
In one sentence.
Well, hey, well, now it's a filibuster.
Yes.
It's not my fault folks are stupid. The books are out there, y'all. Read one before they're all burned up.
Yep.
Exactly. If not by a match, then by the sun, because it's global warming is real.
Yeah, well,
We're on our way.
Yeah. So now, Dani, what do you have coming up before you move to Mexico City? I think you told me you're doing Trek Long Island, which is the weekend of the 29th, 30th. Is that right?
Yes. I'll be doing Trek Long Island. There's going to be a big comedy show Saturday night at Trek Long Island. On July 7th, I'm filming what I'm thinking of as kind of my thesis to this point. I'm doing 45 minutes of comedy before I move, because I know a lot of those US and New York jokes all of them aren't going to, and it's just something that's important to me to do. So July 7th at Greenwich Village Comedy Club, I'm going to be doing that. When I go to Mexico City, I met some amazing comics who do comedy in English and in Spanish. There is a small but vibrant English-speaking comedy scene there, and I'm getting better at Spanish. I speak Spanish, but not well enough to do comedy in it. So I'm going to start small, and I've met another comic there who shares my passion for animal rescue. And
cool.
I'm already signed up to volunteer at an animal shelter down there, and my hope is that we can put on some comedy shows and get people to give us some gringo dollars to help these cats,
So the show at Greenwich Village Comedy Club, that is are you putting it on YouTube? Are you putting it on what's the word I'm looking for? What venue? No, not venue.
Platform. It'll just
platform.
probably YouTube. It's going to be very punk rock, underground, low budget. A Famous Studio is the name of the production company who's doing it for me, and it's going to be just very indie punk rock, low budget feel, on purpose, of course.
Right. Of course. And is it sort of a goodbye to the U.S. or a goodbye to New York kind of a thing?
Not really, but it's kind of in that nobody anywhere else is going to get certain New York City subway jokes.
Right.
For example. Right. And so it's a goodbye maybe to some jokes that aren't going to be
they're being archived.
Yeah, we'll go with archived. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
So then we'll just have to follow you online on Instagram and everything else to find out where you're going to be performing, what other conventions you're going to. Do they have Star Trek conventions in Mexico? Of course they do. What a silly question.
They've got to. I have to be honest. I haven't found them yet, and I'm not without concern.
You know what? Once you're there, you can start one.
Listen, the part of the mission is to explore strange new worlds. To seek out new life and new civilizations. So there you go.
Thank you.
Honey.
Exactly. And, it's an adventure. And one of the first comics I met in Mexico City is not a Trekkie, but is a fan fiction writer who had read The Ring of Sojourn, which, Leighann, do you know The Ring of Sojourn?
No.
It's basically what started fan fiction. It's a story about Kirk and Spock that basically started in the mid-'70s, started fan fiction. And it's very, very hard to find. It's very obscure. I have screenshots of it that somebody found on microfilm decades ago. I mean, it's crazy how hard it is yet. And the first person I ever met in the whole world who had read the first piece of Star Trek fan fiction was a comic in Mexico City.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is coming around. This is all full circle for you. So what social media is best for people to find you? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? What is it?
So I would like the world to know that I very, very proudly do despise social media, and I want to spread the message that it is so bad for people's mental health. I really do. But that being said, follow me on Instagram.
This is terrible, everybody. But follow me on Instagram.
Exactly.
So the number goes up and people give me work. But
Yeah, there's the catch, right? You don't
and
want to be on it, but if you're not on it, then nothing happens in your life, and then you have to get on it, and
yes,
that's when
but
you start screaming internally.
it never ends. Exactly. Yeah. So follow me on Instagram. It's Dani Riedel Comedy. DaniRiedel, I before E except after C, which everyone screws up. God damn it. We learned that one so early. I before E except after C. Dani Riedel Comedy. And I will post some information if anyone wants to hear my comedy thesis to this point on July 7th. And once a year, I'll post a clip if I decide to torture myself and go on the thing.
Well, this podcast episode goes up on Monday the 26th, so people will be able to hear it and go, I'm going to trek Long Island because I want to see Dani Riedel dressed as Seven of Nine with weird metal things on her face and a very, very tight cat suit. That's what you get if you go see Dani Riedel at Trek Long Island this upcoming weekend.
You'll get better than that this year, because this year I am going to be going as a pheromonal Orion woman.
Oh, dear.
And I have a cardboard sign that I carry around that says, "My pheromones, my choice."
Love it.
And Mike McMahon loved it too. The creator of Lower Decks loved it too.
So now I'm assuming that when you say Orion woman, you mean a scantily clad Orion woman?
Well, that's the great thing about it, is as long as you just paint anything exposed green, you can pretty much wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
So scantily clad, weather dependent. We'll go. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And scantily clad is old school. The new school Orion, female Orions are really,
badass.
Kind of like female Klingons, but with a little bit more savoir faire. Like there's Klingon women, Orion women, and Bajoran women.
Yeah.
Like just that's just the levels of strength and gravitas. So there we are.
Yes.
Not that anybody asked.
I always thought I would make a good Bajoran, except for the praying part, because I have an earring with the
Me too.
cuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was what I bought at the last Star Trek convention I attended. Just like, okay, let's just have this in the back in case anybody happens to know what it is.
Yes.
So this goes up on Monday the 26th, I said. So we can go see Dani at Trek Long Island the following weekend. And then if you're in the New York City area, or if you want to come from Mexico City to the New York City area to see her at Greenwich Village Comedy Club on July 7th, you said?
July 7th at 7/7/7/7.
So we can remember. We old people can remember.
I just got lucky with that time slot, to be honest.
No, you didn't. You picked it. You picked it. I'm going to have to write that down before I forget.
You. There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's more likely, with everything coming around in circles. And Leighann, I know that you are in between things. What was it, this past weekend you were in Costa Rica?
It was this past weekend. It was quite a whirlwind. It was really in and out. I got hired to MC a corporate awards program that they flew their folks, their like high performers out, and their plus ones. Like what? Like so much money.
Wow.
So they flew those folks out. It was like 160 people, their senior executives and me in Costa Rica. Yeah, it really was. It pays to learn to be a good MC. Everybody,
absolutely.
You might get to go to Costa Rica. It was a 3-hour program, so to have the skill to do that,
wow,
to work with them, and it was last minute, so it was indeed quite a bit of work to learn about their industry, to meet them, and then have the evening flow smoothly. But I had a fantastic time. I love hosting events. I really do.
I guess so. That's your niche, or one of them.
Yeah.
I guess it's not a niche if you have a bunch of them.
No, yeah, exactly. But Costa Rica, this is my first time. I'm world traveled. This is my first time in Costa Rica. They don't have an army, you guys. Yeah, I know, right? They don't have an army. So I was like, I could take this place over with a knife and fork. Are you serious right now?
Oh, that's terrifying. Not that, I mean, if you were to do it, it wouldn't be terrifying, but
no, I would be a benevolent ruler. But that actually, from talking to people, Costa Rica seems to be a lot of people's escape plan for trying to get out from under empire. But I'm like, I don't know if I would go to a place that can't defend itself, y'all. Maybe y'all should think that through. Word to the wise. The poisonous dart frogs and the howling monkeys and the sloths may not be up to the task.
No, probably not. Probably not. But so that was this past weekend, and then you have
Yep.
something coming up tomorrow. Did I just make that up?
I think you did, but I love the aspirational quality of it. If I worked as much as people thought I worked, like what? No, I actually think I'm doing a virtual show tomorrow. Like I get to stay in my house.
You know, that
every now
counts.
and then those still happen, and I love it. I truly love it. But I think I'm being a person this weekend.
Oh, good for you.
We're going to a concert. It's the Four Legends, one of which is let me get this right. Gladys Knight is going to be one of the.
Oh, is that is Shaka Khan on that? I think it's Gladys Knight,
Yes,
Shaka Khan.
yes.
I can't remember the other two now. Oh, Patti LaBelle.
Yeah. Yes.
What?
Yes. The Four Legends. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But I got the tickets for Michael because you know how you say, okay, the one person that's your out in a relationship, I know that he would leave me for Gladys Knight. Yes, but he would leave me for Gladys Knight. And he's like, listen, I will be her nursemaid. I will wheel her around whatever she needs. And I'm like, I can't compete.
Maybe she needs another Pip.
I mean,
Hey!
if you ever met Avery Brooks, though, I mean.
Oh yeah, he knows.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I have a list. I mean, if I meet Aquaman, those swimming lessons are gonna come in handy.
Okay, I'm going to have to start adding that to the questions. Who is your hall pass?
Who's your hall
And
pass?
does your significant other know?
3 guesses and yes, obviously. I mean,
Oh no, we covered that at the back. That was
we sure
never
did.
a question.
Everybody knows. He knows. Everybody knows.
go figure. My hall pass would be the one person in Hollywood with a happy, stable marriage.
You know what? You have beautiful green hair. You could break it up.
And my husband has a beard.
Is that important?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I guess that's why you made him the costume to go with the
Yeah,
beard.
now you're catching on, Shelly.
I'm sorry. I'm slow. I'm very slow with these things.
I will say I will share this, but this means absolutely nothing. But Michael and I could cosplay as LeVar Burton and his wife. We look just like them.
Wow.
Yes. Ooh.
Wow.
And all we would have to do is put on clothes. I mean, that's it. We just stand next to each other, hold up a picture of LeVar Burton and his wife, and they're like, oh, that's what y'all are doing? Yes, that is what we are doing. This is the laziest costume in the world, being ourselves.
I just got to mention this because when we were talking about cosplay, we were so into like the fictional realm that I totally forgot, Leighann, your cosplay at Dragon Con. It moved me. It moved people. Like, that was incredible.
It did. It really did. Yeah, you can also cosplay as a real person. When you do it as an actor, it's called impersonation. And I got to cosplay. It was so wild and serendipitous as Kamala Harris. And it was a wild, surreal, moving experience. Like, I was just doing it for fun. I didn't know how it would affect people. I didn't know how they would look at me. I was worried because I'm in Atlanta. I'm at Gen Con. I'm like, okay, is this how I go out? Is this how I earn my hashtag? But
Say
it was
her name.
Right, exactly. Well, which is it, Leighann or Kamala? Who we sad about? But no, thank you. Yeah, right. But no,
just
thank
hope
you
they
for
say
remembering
Kamala
that,
correctly.
Dani. It was an incredible experience. I'm still bitter she didn't win because my life as a cosplayer impersonator I wouldn't be talking to y'all. I'd be on a whole nother realm.
Oh, I see. So the only reason you do this podcast is because you're not famous enough to not do it.
You damn Skippy. I had to say it somewhere, everybody. Apparently, when we fight, we don't always win.
Not taking it personally in the least.
So
all right.
Totally kidding.
Yeah, all right. So Leighann, what I clearly made up things that you're not doing. So what are you doing? What do you have coming up?
I think the very next immediate thing, given when this episode is coming out, I will be at my home club, West Side Comedy Club, on the 31st on Saturday. I just did new material night there. It's so fun.
Oh yeah.
To work out new stuff, and it'll probably be polished by the 31st.
Oh,
You know,
of
if I
course. All
work
you
at
need
it.
is just 2 days or 3 days. It'll be fine. You get out that chamois and polish it right up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be there. And then
Okay.
anything after that, y'all, by all means, please, my calendar is on my website, which is veryfunnylady.com.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you all go and put on some sort of costume or other, and I'm going to walk the dog because, as you probably heard, she has said a couple of things. She's had an opinion, and I've been ignoring her. So that
Oh,
means
they don't like that.
no, they do not. That means either feed me or take me out, one or the other, ideally both. So maybe we'll have a picnic. Want to have
Maybe
a
she
picnic,
likes cheese,
Twyla?
like Porthos.
Maybe she what?
Porthos.
Porthos.
Okay, you lost me again.
Oh, that was Captain Archer's dog on in Enterprise.
Oh, okay. Full disclosure, I couldn't get into Enterprise.
Dude, I get it.
And people would say to me, "Oh, Shelly, there's a dog on it." Great, there are dogs on the street that I can look at. You know,
I didn't know about the dog. So I said, I wish somebody had told me. Okay, so my true Enterprise story. I'm ready. I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm in my seat. I got my popcorn. I got my adult beverage. I am ready. I hear the intro music and they are singing. There's no singing in Star Trek. It's been a long road. No, it hasn't. Click. I'm out. We're not doing this. I stayed away for 7 years. I watched everything. And then I said, you know what? I should give this a try. And then I would just fast forward that 1 minute and 20 seconds to get past the intro music. And then, it grows on you.
So the
that's out.
singing?
No, it does not.
Okay,
that is that's vocalizing.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I have expressed this previously, but I stand by it. The best theme of all of the Star Treks, Deep Space Nine.
Oh, the majesty.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And the opening of the starfield and nothing, and then a comet and still nothing, and then the tiny little space station with the I sometimes I just
you make
listen
me
to
want
it.
to watch that. You make me want to turn. You know what? I should walk down the aisle to that.
You should.
It'll be the longest walk ever. Like, is this bitch ever gonna get to the aisle? Quarter impulse, everybody. Is something wrong with her engines? Get this chick some dilithium crystals. Can we speed this up, please?
Yeah, this is a pre-burn society.
And I maintain that, if you want to do that, you could use somewhere like the 3rd or 4th season of Deep Space Nine. They changed the theme and they made it more martial, more military, and they sped it up a little bit. And clearly, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this.
Yes,
so if you wanted to walk up to the second, the second iteration, it'd be a little faster, but it'd be a little more intense.
Well,
I don't know if you want to do that either.
I'm going to slightly shift franchises and say that I would do Bear McCreary and his intro music to Battlestar Galactica, which is very drum, very Celtic, very driven. Because, love is war, everybody. So that's where I was going.
In that case, you might as well use the Imperial March from Star Wars and come dressed as Darth Vader.
How did we get to Star Wars?
Well, I can't help it. I like Star Wars.
Okay, I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it. The last movie that I saw, the parts I was awake for were lovely. It's
Okay, so I'm about to have to throw hands over here. Do people still say throw hands? I don't know what that means. Is that like fight? Because I can't fight.
Yes, that's what that means.
All right, I'm not going to say that ever again. Never.
Well, we try things. We tried the slang. It's giving effort. Is that what we say now? I don't know. The children don't talk to me, so I don't know what we're saying.
I get you. But I can say thank you very much, Dani, for doing this with us. Thank you, Leighann, for taking some time. I just get such a kick out of talking to you. And you make me feel, dare I say, normal-ish. Because people find out I'm into Star Trek and they go, oh. But then I go, yeah, but these two. Anyway, thanks very much. Everybody check out Dani on her Instagram, which is, say it again, please.
Dani Riedel Comedy, DANIRIEDEL.
Okay, and check out Leighann Lord at
veryfunnylady.com, and also on Instagram and TikTok and Substack, and soon to be my bed, because I'm going to take a nap. Mama has earned
but she
a
doesn't
nap.
she does not like social media. Just bear that in mind. And
Can't stand it.
check out funnywomenofAcertainage.com. See where these folks are performing with us. And also check out comedyvillage.com if you're in New York City. That way you can see the residency. That's a monthly residency at Comedy Village in the Times Square area, and also to keep an eye on what the tour is and who's going to be where. Florida, there's some shows in California coming up, middle of America, various places. And you need to know all of that because you need to support and enjoy Funny Women of a Certain Age. So again, all engines, full stop. Shelly Colman saying goodbye. Everybody say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.